How's it going, ladies and gentlemen? Welcome to the first live stream this week that I know of. It's Wednesday, I believe. It's 11:49 p.m. on the East Coast. And, dude, I am just thrilled with what's happening with this channel, man. I feel like something's going on, and I'm into it. I'm getting in, I'm falling in love with this, this music, with doing these reaction lesson videos. I'm getting overwhelming positive feedback. Some of it is not positive, but I'm working through that, trying to figure out the best thing to do. And I figured I would just pop on here tonight and one, say thank you, two, play a little guitar, and open it up for questions or whatever, but three, talk about this thing. So if you guys are brand new to the channel, maybe maybe you don't know, whatever, but I've been doing this teaching online things since 2013. And I work closely with Paul Reed Smith Guitars. I'm very fortunate that they uh, like what I do, like me, like my teaching style, whatever. And so they give me guitars from time to time to play. And they just gave me this new PRS SE Hollowbody 2. And of course, getting into the Jerry stuff, right? And the hollow body, just I've never had a hollow body before. I've never played a hollow body before. At least never really had one in my hands for any significant period of time. And I love this thing. This thing is just great. Let me take, I'm plugged in direct here for all you guys that are wondering. Let me take some of this gain off here so you can kind of hear it. But this thing, and this is just a really killer guitar. And these are the ones. Made in China, right? These are the ones that are like a shade over $1,000, something like that, and they're just killer. The two things that really stand out for me on these is that one, I just feel like it really stays in tune and intonates perfectly. It just feels like it's on train tracks. The second thing is that I don't know what it is about the hollow body or whatever, but the string tension, just the way it's set up with bends, I feel like it's very easy to bend into pitch. Like it's just. I'm still getting used to it, but it just feels like the distance that you go, it just makes a perfect amount of sense with the string tension. I know that's not very specific, but it's just, it plays extremely well in that scenario, you know? So much percussion, you know, like we were doing that tune the other day, the West LA Fadeaway. If you haven't seen that, just it. Now I know when I did the video, I didn't do it with just my fingers. Someone pointed out in the comments that Jerry was doing it with his fingers, and it really adds a lot. But like this guitar lends itself to that. It's just freaking awesome. And it's not expensive, relatively speaking. So anyway, I see a lot of you have jumped on here. So let me go through the comments, see if we have anything interesting. Feel free to ask anything you like if you're new to the channel. I pretty much, when I jump on here, I'm open to any and all. We can go down any rabbit hole you want to go to. Lesson stuff, gear stuff, me stuff, you stuff, any stuff. George, hello. Jeff, what's happening? George, full hollow. This is full hollow all the way. And there's the back. It's light. I got to tell you, it feels very cool, man. I like it. Caleb, the pinch harmonics. Dude, that's one thing I didn't realize also about, Jerry's style. Like a lot of that stuff, especially up top, when he has a little bit more gain on it, he's way back in the saddle here, really exploring those pinch harmonics. And just trying to let it sing like that. I gotta work on it. And obviously I want a completely clean tone with no gain and no tube amp I'm plugged in. But it's those little subtle things though that even when you play clean, it makes a regular note something more than that, something that really is more emotive. It's just you get those little overtones instead of and I always find it's easier to get them when you upstroke, kind of like doing a pinch up. Yeah, totally. Jeff Good, I'm starting to believe that the skill of a guitar player tends to be inversely proportional to the number of pedals he has. You know what? This is a very interesting conversation. I love this whole. I love this conversation in general. So, and one thing I love about getting into the dead stuff, where you really don't hear a whole vast variety of sounds. You basically get one good sound. Which is so fascinating to me because, let's skip Jerry for a second. Let's go to John Mayer. And the reason I'm doing that is because when you see him on his solo tour, or even when you see his rig, he's got stuff everywhere. It's like pedals. It's like he's got all types of options. But when you hear him play with the Dead, basically you're just seeing him ride the volume knob. You're not really there's a little auto wah for some of those tunes, but it's not like he's clicking and going a bunch. You might have a clean booster compressor. I literally have no idea what a single chain is, but if you just listen, it's not like you got a clean tone, a medium tone, like a super distorted tone, like a heavy tone. There's not a bunch of swirly effects. There's not like a crazy chorus that's going on. And for the most part, it's like one really good guitar, a really good, really responsive amp, and the music is about, having the little nuances in your hands translated out, right? And I feel that way when when I'm listening to Jerry too. I feel like, again, I don't know what his signal chain is. I don't know what amp he was using. I'm like, when I mean I'm new to this, I mean I'm brand new. Like I expect everything to be new for a long time. But what I'm hearing is a dude do a lot with his hands. I'm not hearing a lot of different sounds that have been clicked on and off like you hear in, so many bands. And I personally love that. On my pedal board, if you want to call it that, I have a tuner, I have a wah pedal, I have reverb, and I have a clean boost. That's it. And I almost never hit the clean boost. Tuner's the most important, reverb's next, and then the wah for color, if I feel like, having just a little bit of a gate. But that's it. I think that um, trying to focus on getting better here and having one good sound uh, forces me to think more about the notes and think more about melodies and dynamics than if I had more options. If you have more options, you got more stuff to think about, more stuff to muddy the waters. And that isn't to say that there aren't phenomenal guitar players that have pedal boards that are 50 things on them. Of course, that's the case. I mean, there's amazing players that have all types of gear. But I think that generally speaking, if you have a personality type like mine, where you kind of have decision paralysis, where you blossom, you become more musical when you remove options, so you're forced to do more with less, you're forced to break it down to you have, the wood and the wire and the fingers. I think that's where I live, and I love that. And in this type of music too, I think that's what I hear. All right, I'm seeing some stuff come out here. Plugged in direct to an interface. I'm plugged into the Scarlett 4 Pre because it's midnight. My kids are asleep, and that's what time it is. And I know this might seem ridiculous, but I'm literally plugged in just to GarageBand, just on the regular old. I'll just on the like what would be the Fender Twin. They call it like the fat face setting, and I haven't messed with anything at all. I got everything right in the middle. I don't have any extra effects on it all. Just a little reverb and pretty clean. Just because I wanted to come on here quick and dirty and not make a lot of decisions. Just come on and do a live stream for you guys. All right. How does it sound acoustically? So. It's loud. It's loud. You know? Really rings. Dude, it's a good guitar, man. Theo, can you do a quick scale a beginner should practice? Everybody should start with just the first 3 notes of the major scale. Totally. And the reason I say that is because so many melodies just go 1, 2, 3, and back down, or some variation of that. So if you're playing like a C. Some C vamp groove like that, right? Everybody's always keen to start with, oh, let's do a full scale, and you'll kind of learn that, and you figure out right away that, yeah, okay, you got that scale, but it's not sounding. It just sounds like a scale. It's not sounding like anything. So if you're a total beginner, and you're learning to improvise, you're learning to start with a scale, I want you to start with 3 notes. So you start on C if you're in the key of C. You have 1 whole step higher. That's your 2nd degree of the scale. That'll be D, and then 1 whole step higher than that. So you got 2 frets followed by 2 frets, C, D, and E. And now those are your first 3 notes in your major pentatonic. Pentatonic's 5 notes, so there's only 2 more. We're not even going to get there yet. So hit a jam track. You know what? I'll see if I can find one here. C, major, vamp. It is YouTube after all. Let's see what we get. This could be, you know, complete trash. Yeah, complete trash. Let's try this one. Well, this is a commercial. Like I said, this is live.
I used to live my life according.
Alright, we'll just go with it because this is C. What I would do is just go up to 2. Get a feel for each one. 3. Back down. Now try to make simple melodies with just those 3. This is just the first 3 steps of the major scale, right? I know that's super basic, and I know that that is super duper, you might think, boring. You know how many songs do that? You know how many melodies to start with a 1, 2, 3? You should always start with a 1, 2, 3. Now, what else are we missing? Okay, we're just on a 1 chord vamp, so we're gonna go to the next note that will be in the chord, which will be your 5. So we're going to go 1, 2, 2, 3. So C, D, E. And then we're going to skip the 4 for a second, which is a half step. We're going to go up to G, which is your 5th. And we're going to do the same thing. All right, we're just going to add in that note. Get it here if you want, but maybe keep it on 1 string. Come on. Don't you love technology? So, when I went up, I just went to the next place C repeats. Right? 2nd dot, 5th fret is your 2nd dot up here, 17. So, this 1, 2, 3, you can do from any C, right? And so that all I did was connect there on my G, my 5th, and then I have it up here. And then there's only 2 more notes left, right? Sorry, 3 more notes left. There's 7 notes in any scale. But that's where I would start. You're a stone cold beginner. Do a 1 chord vamp. Do a 1, 2, 3, and then add the 5th. And try to make simple melodies with that. And then once on 1 string, once you feel comfortable with that, then you can add in the 4th. You can add in the 6th, right? You can add in the other stuff, the 7th, the other stuff that's in the scale. And you can try doing it on other strings. But what this will do is it will immediately put the sound of a melody, put the sound what each note sounds like over the chord in your ear, and not just this is what this scale sounds like in your ear. It'll really, oh, that's the root, that sounds like home. Oh, that's the third, it sounds like the chord, but it's different, right? It's got like a brighter quality, it sounds more whatever. And as you go on, you'll learn all these things, and I'll teach them to you. But that's where I would start. I hope that answers your question. All right, let's keep going now. Let's see. Love that quack, yeah. Doug, howdy from England. What's happening? Thanks for joining us. So he had a heavily modified Fender preamp, Macintosh solid state, and his signal chain was Distortion Series 2000 octave divider, envelope filter, wah phase. I mean, like I said, I believe you. How much do I think this guitar weighs? Not much, man. I don't know. 7 pounds? 6 pounds? I don't know. M Hunter 225. My Berkeley audition is coming up. How should I prepare? Love this question. All right. I know you probably have to prepare a great deal. Do you want to share a little bit of exactly what they say they want to see from you? And then maybe I can give you something a little more useful than what I might imagine they want to see. I would love to go down that rabbit hole. I'll read a couple more, and then I'll look and see for your response if you're still here. Marcus. Love the D-type neck on the Vela. So I went to TGU, Toman Gearhead University, with PRS this year. If you guys are familiar with TGU, Toman's like the biggest online and in-store music retailer outside of the U.S. or besides Sweetwater, I think so. And they invite a bunch of YouTubers and brands to come out every year and basically make videos for a week and have any piece of gear in their entire facility. It's like an Amazon warehouse. Unbelievable. The PRS Vela was like overwhelming. Like it really stood out with all the stuff that was out there for all of us to use. And everybody that played it loved it. I love the shape of that neck. I like those pickups too. It's a hot little guitar. Joe McCarthy. The S2 594 thin line is exactly what you should get. The S2 594 thin line, I just played at NAMM. I had never played it before. Dude, the 594 is the best guitar I've ever owned. It's not even close, man. It's like, it's, and the fact that they're making an S2 version, which is far more affordable, and which is just a killer guitar. Like that 594 scale length is perfect, in my opinion. It's perfect. That is an absolute home run. All right. Simple twist of fate. Scroll up Begonia's leads. Use the 3-note lesson earlier with my 13-year-old boy. He was off and running. Dude, man, that's amazing. I'm telling you. Everybody's always asked the same stuff. I've felt it for years, but the answer is very, very simple. They're like, how do you stop sounding like you're playing scales, and how do you start sounding like you play music? Melodies. Be a melody maker. The stuff that gets stuck in your head. The stuff that you hear players like Jerry Garcia do so well is connect the chords, connect the rhythm, connect everything with melodies. And generally speaking, melodies, are simple. And you can embellish those melodies with chromatics. So like, if you're in that C major thing, right? You can go, right? You're getting all those. that melody, you're just connecting with. And I'm learning that Jerry didn't really discriminate. He pretty much did that anytime he felt like exploring or connecting. It's not like, oh, it was always from the 4 to the 5 to walk over that flat 5. No, it was over thirds. It was sevens. It seemed to be anywhere. So it's just, you be tasteful with it. Do it whenever like, it sounds good to you. But at the end of the day, it is an embellishment on a melody. If you start your improvising journey with, with using the scales to just think about melodies, you're not going to sound like you're playing scales. You're going to be playing stuff you've never played before immediately. The best advice I can give anybody that wants to start improvising. George, thank you, man. I appreciate it. I can't believe all the support I'm getting, seemingly to me out of nowhere. But you know what? I feel like this and you guys just found me at the right time, and this is awesome. The harder they come, the harder they fall. Love that track. Fella, how do you learn to transcribe so well? I'm actually not transcribing. Transcribing is like what you see like someone like Levi Clay does, who's a phenomenal guitar player on YouTube. Where like actually a lot of YouTubers pay him to transcribe, to actually write out the sheet music. What you're seeing me do is learn stuff by ear, but I actually have a video on YouTube. I can drop the link in here, but you can just go to my channel and search for it. Actually, it's just how I learn a song, or how do I learn a song with the band. It's just really educated guessing. If you have a basic knowledge of music theory, and you've learned enough songs that you know typically what things lead to the next things, you just guess. And most of the time you're right. And if you're wrong, usually there's only like a couple other options it could be. So it's not like, even though there's endless options on this thing, if you're in a key, there's 7 notes, which means there's 7 chords. So first, assume something's in a key, find the bass notes, and most of the time in popular music, in other words, if it sounds reasonable, you're probably right. If it's not, that bass note is, first, I would think it's either it's an inversion of a chord in that key, meaning a note other than the root note is being played in the bass. So try that, and then if it's not, it's probably in a borrowed key, in which case, try major, try minor, try dominant. And when you've done this enough times, you know that, oh yeah, that's a 2. Oh yeah, that's a 3. And you realize you're really only counting to 7. And even if you're exploring the whole chromatic possibilities, there's only 12. From E to E, there's just 12 notes. So it's not like it's magic. It's actually fairly simple once you know what to look for and what to listen for. And the more that you use theory to help you learn songs, the quicker your ear connects to it, the quicker your hands connect to your ear. That's just the way it goes. Connor, I think you should check out some Trey Anastasia. All right, so I cannot tell you how many comments I have had about Fish being the next video. And I've had just as many Fish comments as I have dead comments, probably. And I don't know where to start. I really, truly, deeply don't. I have clicked on a couple tunes, and they all seem to have like 4 or 5 different sections that are extremely different and elaborate. And I'm not entirely sure where I should start and where I should jump in, because these could easily be like 5-hour videos if I'm like trying to break it down. You know what I mean? So it's like, what's the reasonable place to jump in there? So if you have any suggestions, if any reason why you would say start here instead of there, I'm all about it. You know, I feel like the dead stuff is far more accessible, for almost like you have to go through the dead to get to the extra jammier stuff, because it's like a conduit, you know, where like the jump from being a country or blues or a rock player to somebody learning how to play over the changes more and play more melodically. I feel like the dead is a natural jump from that. So, believe me, I'm going to get to the fish. I'm just trying to figure out one where I haven't learned, but I'm also not like jumping into a 15-minute video that has 9 different sections, and if I don't get the thing in the 8th section that everybody's waiting for, because that's when it peaks, like everybody freaks out on me, and you know, and I have a 3-hour video. There you go. Dylan, where are you from? I'm from Maryland. Brandon, Fire on the Mountain. Fire on the Mountain's coming. If you guys haven't seen it, I made a little video of Fire on the Mountain talking about melodies again. You know, you got the... And just taking your chord tones for B major, if you're doing it in B, you know, that 1, 2, 3, and then when it goes to A, dropping right down. You don't have to know any advanced theory. You don't have to know if you're doing mixolydian or any of that nonsense like that. You just know when you're on B, there's your B's. When you're on A, there's your A's. And you always know that since a chord has a 1, 3, and 5 in it, that when you do 1, 2, 3, you know that 1's in the chord, 3's in the chord, 2's a passing, right? And when you go down to A, you know that 1's going to be in the chord, 3's going to be in the chord, and that 2 is a passing, right? So if you're doing a... And you can just start making melodies without knowing anything else. Just thinking 1, 2, 3 from a major chord and moving it when the chord moves. Yeah. Wolverine, you have 2 SEs and love them. I believe you. They're great guitars, man. Dylan, thank you. Jacob, what are your thoughts on Carlos Santana and his playing? I love the feel more than anything else about his playing. You know, he's another guy. These super feel guys tend to not have a whole arsenal of different sounds. You know, Santana, you know, he'll do the wah thing, but it's not like these guys. You'll hear them have a super clean tone, and then all of a sudden their face melting. You know, it's like they pretty much ride the volume, and you hear every little nuance that their fingers do. That's like what the great players do. Even if they have a dirty sound or super clean or whatever, they pretty much have one really dynamic sound. Carlos Santana is totally one of those dudes. He's a fingerprint player. You know, you don't even need 3 notes. You know in 1 note who he is. Instantaneously, his fingerprints translate completely and entirely through the fretboard, through the cable, and out the amplifier. That is like the goal for all of us. It is for me, at least, to have that channel just completely open. And his is completely open. I love his feel, love his phrasing. Generally speaking, Santana lives in Dorian land. So that's minor with a major 6th. So like if you're an A minor, right? scale. You're adding in that note. That's your root, flat 7, major 6th. Makes that scale matter, what makes any mode matter, is the chord which it implies. This 6 is the 3rd of your 4 chord. I have a video, again, on my channel. These are all old videos, which I hope everybody that's new goes and finds. That's called Your 6 is Your 4. What that literally means is your 6th scale degree is your 4 chord. It's the 3rd of your 4 chord. It implies your 4th chord because the 3rd is what gives chords their function. It's what creates tension, resolves tension, whatever. And so Santana generally lives in this Dorian land. So a progression that comes to mind would be like A minor to D major, because you got that F sharp in there, right? You hear it? I don't have the fingerprint that Santana does, but harmonically, that sound, that minor with the major 6, that Dorian sound, that's usually where he lives. All right. The mic sounds a little distant, not how it usually sounds on my channel. That's correct. That's because I'm just live streaming off my phone here. I need to spend a few hours and figure out how to properly live stream with my mic and everything the way that I do when I record. I've tried a few times and I've never had it work out the way that I want. Levi Clay just did Ozzy's Crazy Train and it was phenomenal. Dude, Levi Clay might be the best guitar player that does YouTube. As far as like that has a channel, I know that's like a bold statement. But that dude's for real. And he doesn't show it much. But anybody, there are tons of people that can play. That can play super fast, play super tasteful. You can do all those things. Anybody that can sit there on a live stream and transcribe like Eric Johnson solos, Ozzy solos, play it, make the notation, do it while communicating with people, dude, come on. Come on. Hey, thank you for that. Thank you, George. I really, really, sincerely appreciate that. All right, let's see what else we have here. Oh, let's see. Can you talk a bit about your thoughts on using tab chord sheets to learn versus your ear? So, here's the thing. I believe in a practical approach to learning an instrument, to learning music. I firmly, wholeheartedly am not a purist when it comes to education, in the sense that, like, if you're learning violin, you have to do the Suzuki method, and you must start here, and you have to do blah, 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 blah. Or you can only learn by ear. You have to put in the ears early. It's the only way you develop your ear. There's no middle ground. Otherwise, it's just cheating. If you always look at tab, you'll never get it. The truth, like everything in life, is in the middle. And so, here's what I know to be true. I know that my ear was trash. I did never had a good ear. When I was growing up and I went to private lessons, I had a great guitar teacher who taught me chops and technique and solos, and I learned everything note for note. But he taught me zero theory and zero ear training. So I could regurgitate, I could play everything that I learned, but I was making no mental connection, just a physical connection, and only a slight auditory connection in the sense that I didn't know, I didn't realize that this was a root, this was a third, this was a fifth, right? I just knew that that sound worked and this pattern worked, but I wasn't making any melodic connections. I was making a harmonic connection, meaning I got this lick in C, the tune's in C, but zero melodic connection. And so when that started to change for me is when I went to GIT out in Hollywood, which is like a West Coast Berkeley, but like performance based for those that are not familiar. And I got into theory. And I realized that if I break down the stuff in songs that I like and figure out why I like them and figure out what they're called, then not only can I communicate that to other people, can I do better in school and all those different things, but I can remember them. I can remember what works. And there's a sound associated with a word, a thing. And then I realized, like we talked about before, it's only 12 notes. There's only 7 in a key, right? And each chord is made up of 3 of those. And one of those notes, the third generally, creates the function of that chord. That's basic. Once you get a handle on that, then it doesn't matter whether you're learning by ear, whether you're learning by tab, whether you're learning by music notation, whether someone's showing you. It's making the mental connection that this is not just the 5th fret on the 6th string. Of course it is, but it's A, right? And that this, is not just the 6th fret on the 3rd string. Of course it is, but it's C sharp. It is the major 3rd. Get that in your brain. That's a major 3rd. That is the sound of a major 3rd interval. When you get that in your head and you say, okay, this song's in A major, you know that there's your bass tone, there's your A, and there's your 3rd. That's the note that makes it major. When you make those connections, it becomes the distance between your ear, your brain, your fingers all becomes shorter and shorter and shorter the more times that you do it. So, if you're learning from tabs, and you're learning from Levi Clay's, Crazy Train notation, right, or something you saw in Guitar World or whatever, and you're reading from it, don't just say, oh, this is the 17th fret, 15th fret, whatever. It's this fingering, this pattern, I can play it. Make a concerted effort to say, that's a C sharp over A. That's the sound of A major. And then it's going to B with the D in it, right? That's the sound of B minor. That's probably a 2 chord. When you make those connections, it doesn't really matter from what direction you come to those connections. You'll find that these connections between your ear, your brain, and your fingers are all in the middle. It's like one of those giant Venn diagrams. It's in the middle. And you can come from whatever side to get there. But in the center is that understanding of what the sound is, why it sounds good, and you internally understand it. And you can put it in different keys and different contexts or whatever. And different people learn differently. And so there's no really right or wrong way. It's just that whether you're learning to read, whether you're learning to tab, whether someone's showing you stuff, learn why it sounds good. Make a mental connection. Oh yeah, that's a 5th. Oh yeah, that melody sounds good. That 2, because it's the 5th of my 5 chord. That's why that tag gets stuck in my head, and I can't forget it when I'm driving home in the car. That's why. Because the melody ends on the 2, which is the 5th of the 5 chord, which is what the progression ends on. That's the stuff. That's the stuff. If you get to a place where that is internalized and you never forget it, it's like, of course there was a point in your life where you didn't know what green was, but now it's unimaginable. You know what green was. Now it's like, oh my God, that's a 5 chord. That's a 2 chord. That's a 3 chord. And when you just, it doesn't matter what direction gets you there. It's making a concerted effort to learn the why behind it and not just learn the surface, learn the cake, you know? That's it. All right. Stuff says, start with the easy songs like You Enjoy Myself. That's a perfect example. Like You Enjoy Myself, I listened to a couple of those, and they're really long with a bunch of different intricate sections. Unless I'm doing it all wrong, but like that, everybody keeps suggesting that. And I'm like, okay, do they want me to fast forward to just Trey's guitar part? Because that's like 8 minutes in after like, I don't even know. Tahoe Tweezer. Okay. Oh, see, I see. Now that I scroll down, I realize that he's screwing with me. Wolverine, thanks for checking in. All right, let's go down. Let's see. Am I familiar with Matt Ray? No, I'm not. Marcus, Alexandria, Virginia. You are right around the way. Overdrive and a good tube amp. Dude, I get you. You've listened to 20 versions of Morning Dew since the other day. I love that. Warren Haynes or Allman Brother is absolutely in the chain. Please drop a link. Love it. Shoot me a link. This live stream will disappear, probably, or at least this chat will. So you can always email me, support@guitargate.com, and you'll definitely cut through the mix that way. And that's a good thing for anybody that wants to cut through the mix. I spend the vast majority of my time on Guitargate talking to students. That's what I do full time since 2013. Christian, what do I have to do and not worry about scales and play music what I hear in my head? I give you the exact same advice I gave the last person to ask for a beginning thing. Realize that this is not random. It might look random, it might seem daunting, but start with 3 notes. Most of the things in your head are generally going to be in the major scale, and they're generally going to start with a 1, 2, 3. I know that that's like a ridiculous overgeneralization, but the reason that the vast majority of songs are in a major key and come from the major scale and are in one key and don't have a bunch of crazy stuff in them that the majority of people in the world like, at least in Western music I should say, is because it sounds good to most of us, more than anything else. So there's a very high probability that the stuff in your head, at least most of the stuff in your head, is going to start there. So you don't have to learn all 5 positions of each scale. Just start on one string from one note and learn 1, 2, 3. And then add your 4 and 5, but do one string and go up and back. And I guarantee it might not be the thing that you hear in your head immediately, but it's one of the things you hear in your head. The other part to that is audiation. If you want to figure out something that is in your head and not have the guitar feel like it's driving the conversation, gotta sing it, man. Gotta sing it. You listen into your head and you hear, whatever it is, record it. Your pitch might be terrible, but it'll help you remember it. And then figure out the notes on the guitar. That's really the only other way if you want pure figure out the notes in your head. But audiation is, I highly encourage anybody to try to sing their lead lines, learn the melodies that they hear in their head. But that's a whole nother skill, which takes a long time to get down. So Jacob, yeah, New River, yeah. Again, it's yeah. The voice. I'm sorry. I'll clean it up. I'll figure out how to do this properly. Can you noodle around on it? I just got here. By the way, great work. What's your thought on John's sound covering dead songs and how he plays? I think he's phenomenal. I think he's outstanding. It's truly unbelievable. Chalk dust torture back on the train. Third to size function. Love it. That's the truth. Take it to the bank. All right. 1, 4, 3, 2, 4, 5. Divided sky. So free or character 0. Okay, I appreciate that. All right, I'll play for a little. Let you guys hear this if you're just tuning in. Telling you, man, this is a really good guitar to play. It just rings. I mean, you can hear it just sing. I mean, that's a pretty stock tone. You know, nothing really hairy on it. You know, there's a little bit pushing it, but Let's see here. Check John Mayer, Queen of California at Crossroads. Cherry Red Strat. Okay. Sam Sarah, have you said? Thank you so much. Thank you everybody that's new here tuning in. I really appreciate it. George, damn the GarageBand amp sounds great. Dude, it's true, man. It's like, it's just, when I'm actually recording, I wouldn't do this. But I have kids. They're asleep. I'm in the basement. I'm in my studio. I'm plugged in direct. And, if I had a limiter on here and a gate and a bunch of other stuff that you get with these type of plugins, it would maybe not sound as responsive or dynamic. But I'm telling you, when you have a good guitar and give yourself a nice clean tone with not a lot of stuff on it, so it really just focuses on the guitar, give yourself a little reverb. That's what you want. What you don't want is that when you get a plug-in or something and it just isn't dynamic and it just doesn't feel like an amp. I mean, yeah, this is super quiet. It's not like I'm cranking in here, but I mean, you can tell that I'm thinking and playing. I'm thinking about dynamics. I'm thinking about feel. I'm not thinking about the tone. You know what I mean? I'm thinking about letting this wood ring. I mean, that's all you really want. You just want to be able to feel what you're playing. Hit me right in the feels. Love it. Great. Joey, I appreciate it. Dude, I'm trying to make good stuff. I'm so happy that you like it. Yeah, catfish cheese, yeah. Even if you don't know the dosophile, latido or whatever that is, those are just different names for 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. The point is, if you get to a place where that do means something to you, it means 5, or I don't even know. But that means a function. You hear a sound. It means like if I'm in E, it means like Star Wars. People always make those connections. Like, oh, I know that. That's Star Wars. That's the sound of a fifth. You make those connections. Doesn't matter what you call it. You just got to know that. Oh, let's see here. Matt, I appreciate that. Yeah, I mean, you're not going to be catching me play, at least not day after day, playing some Ibanez with, EMG 81s with the battery in there where everything's just like coming out rocket fuel. And there's no dynamics anywhere to be found. And you're just, I love playing distorted stuff with the, with the best of them. I mean, I grew up a metalhead, believe it or not. But I love feeling one note, ring, and then like this Hollowbody just kind of makes me play that. It's like really lending itself to this style. It's just, I get it. I've never owned one before, and PRS was nice enough to lend this to me, and I gotta tell you, I can't put it down. Like, it's legit. That's a solid guitar, man. It's very fun. George, some, what'd you ask here? Oh, any advice for people who Oh, did you bring that back? I thought I saw it. People have kids. You just need a bigger house and a smaller amp. So there's really only a couple things you can do. Whether you're in an apartment or whether you're in a basement, you have kids or whatever. Um, you can plug in direct and use headphones or studio monitors. That's fun, not as fun as an amp. Uh, the step right above that is to get an isolation box. So you have the amp of your choice. You have the cables coming out of that amp into a speaker that is literally in an isolation box, like an ISO booth, but it's like a little one. You can get them. And then there's a microphone in there. And then that microphone cable runs out then into your interface, and then that's what you hear when you wear headphones or through your studio monitors. So at least you're hearing your amp, and you can mess with the settings and it's whatever, but you're still listening to it through your monitors or your headphones at whatever volume makes sense. And that's really the best option, frankly, because it's consistent and it's easy. If you have to be concerned with volume for whatever reason, tube amps need to breathe, and even if you're playing solid state stuff, you're never going to get the feel of what an electric guitar and an electric amplifier is supposed to bring at a low volume. You're just not. So you just embrace that it's midnight and your kids are asleep, and or you get a bigger house or a barn. Build a place out in the barn, go crank out in the barn. I mean, it just kind of is what it is, Shit, I mean, even clubs. I mean, so many clubs, sound people not let you turn up at all. And these days, they want you to use all in-ears and no amps on stage at all. Because they want total control. And then it's just sucking all the fun out of it. But, they're just trying to not get fired like everybody else. New River, you enjoyed the last live series, mixing in major and minor scales. Yeah, man, that's what it's all about. I mean, for those of you that have, seen my stuff for a while, you kind of know what I'm all about. I'm happy there's some new people on board. I'm really happy about it. And if you go over to my website on GuitarGate, you get my whole learning thing, from the very beginner to advanced stuff. And it's $10 subscription, and it's for everything. It's how I pay, do this stuff for free on the channel. That's where I spend most of my time. But I'm heavily into melodies are the bridge. People are wondering, what's the bridge between lead and rhythm guitar? How do I stop sounding like I'm playing scales? How do I become a better... Music is rhythm, harmony, and melody. Everybody focuses on the rhythm, and they focus on the harmony. It's this groove, and it's in this key, and these are the chords. But it's the melody, which brings it all together, that makes it a tune, that makes it stuck in your head. That's the earworm. That's it. And mixing majors and minors, learning the little nuances of how to connect chords based with chord tones in a linear fashion and making an outline. That's my whole approach to teaching and learning guitar. And I just saw someone else come in and say, what do you think of players always hating on theory? They just don't truly, deeply understand exactly what it is and what they're saying. I mean, it's literally, in my mind, no different than saying, I'm not going to learn that the color green is called green as a painter. I just want to look at the palette, and I want to have endless options because I don't want to destroy my creativity. Or you could know that you want flag blue, or that you want a certain kind of green, and you go to the store and you get it. And that's the color that you have in your brain, and that's the color that you can see that you want, and then you put it on the thing. It's the same to me, except it's even simpler than that, because there's only 12 notes, and in any key, there's generally, if you're staying in key, there's only 7 options, 7 chords, and 7 notes that could be over that chord that's create a melody if you're in key. And again, if you leave key, there's only 5 more. 7 plus 5 is 12. That's it. That's it. So if you learn what things are called, so you can know to yourself, oh, I know I like that sound. And you can communicate to other musicians, because you're going to be in a band, you're going to play with other people, or you're going to write something for something, and you're going to need other people to play it, and they're going to say, oh yeah, he wants that note to be the melody that ties that chord to that chord. That's it. That's the Nashville number system. That's the purpose of it, right? And so people that hate on music theory, they don't really understand. They don't really understand what they're hating on. You know, they have a preconceived notion of what they think it may or may not be, and it's just not what that is. The whole goal of music theory is to shorten the distance between your ears, your brain, and your finger. It's to open the channel. It's not to constrict the channel. Because if you remove things that are unknown quantities and you transform them into known quantities, they're no longer a mystery. I know what color that wall is. I don't have to worry about it. You know what I mean? I know how long it's going to take me to drive from here to there. It's not like, oh, it could be anything, right? When you take this whole thing and you remove this could be anythingness of it, there's unlimited options, and you break things down to the core fundamental units of what makes this song what it is. What's the rhythm? What's the harmony? What's the melody? Where are the hits? What are the different things that have to be in there so the person that hears the song is getting what they expect, right? So that the ear is getting, it knows the tune, it's expecting things. What is that? And when you boil everything down to its pure essence, like the third creates the function of a chord, and you think like that, and you remove all the stuff that doesn't matter, then you're actually liberated to do more, because you're operating with an understanding of all these known quantities, of all these givens, as opposed to all these unknowns, and this could be anything. And more to the point, I would think people that really hate on theory they're not pros. They don't work for a living. They just don't. Because if you did, no matter what you did in the industry, if you're writing, learning, performing, any type of music where you have to do dozens of new things a week, if you don't know what something is, you just can't work. Not for an extended period of time. Certainly not for what you do for a living, over and over and over and over again. You cannot know music theory, but I guarantee you, Stevie Ray Vaughan, etc., knew for sure a major third versus a minor third, a 7 versus a flat 7. Knew it to him, right? And certainly wouldn't say, like, don't learn anything, because that's like saying, don't remember that this works. Don't remember that that doesn't work, because things work and things don't work. All right. Joey, I appreciate that. I try very hard. To communicate the uncommunicable. Yeah, I bet 120 watt 2x12 is crazy loud. Matt, Ravens will add one more deep threat and you'll be live streaming from the Super Bowl next year. I hope so. I hope so. Alright, it is 1 o'clock. I'm going to wrap this up. Let me finish. Hunter and Jerry Dream Team. Again, I'm new. I just had a friend of mine the other day. When I mean the other day, I mean this past week, because he saw that Morning Dew video. Tell me that Jerry and everything didn't really write the lyrics to the song. That there's this other guy, Robert Hunter. I didn't know. I had no idea. Quite frankly, the lyrics are one of the main things that I think sets the band apart from others in the genre. The songs. Like, quite literally, it's the songs. And I agree. Jerry and Hunter, the Dream Team. Ship of Fools, Dire Wolf, Darford, Wharf Rat, Robert Hunter just died recently. Yeah. Alright, ladies and gentlemen, I'm going to call it there. I'll play out for a minute, just because why not? But thank you so much for everybody that's new to the channel. Welcome, and don't forget to check out my website at GuitarGate if you want my courses. If not, enjoy the channel. Shoot me some links. You can always email me, support@guitargate.com, if there's any way I could help you, if you just want to shoot me some stuff that you think I should hear. I really appreciate it. I'm looking forward to this journey. Let's get better together. It's 1 in the morning. Now I'm getting noodly. Thank you guys for tuning in. See you in the next one.